Chapter 6. Yes to surrendering the Mommy War, or Jenny McCarthy is my everything. I have an amazing nanny. She's wonderful and soulful. She has a sly sense of humor. I've seen her deliver a funnier joke with a single silent raise of her eyebrow than many stand-up comedians. She guards a very sensitive heart. Any human suffering brings her to tears. She's smart. Talk down to her and find yourself mentally slapped. She has excellent judge of character and seems to know an original spirit from a forgery every time. Cross boundaries with her or her charges in any improper way and suffer the wrath of a lion. Get down on your hands and knees with her and the kids, and she will patiently teach until something in you cracks open and you remember who you were as a child and begin to play. She's principled and firm. Rude behavior doesn't materialize in her presence. She's a grown-up who fully sees and knows children as citizens and people and souls, and because she respects children, all children seem to respect her. She is a goddess sent by the universe through the grace of stars. Her name is Jenny McCarthy. I'm not kidding. She has the same name as a well-known TV personality. A TV personality whose ideas about vacations my Jenny McCarthy does not happen to share. She want me to tell you, Jenny McCarthy says vacation. Sorry, that was incorrect. She has the same name as a well-known TV personality. A TV personality whose idea about vaccinations my Jenny McCarthy does not happen to share. She want me to tell you, Jenny McCarthy says vaccinate your kids. I hired Jenny McCarthy 15 minutes after I met her. At least I tried to. She resisted. She had questions. She interviewed me. I was nervous. I knew immediately that Jenny McCarthy was a person I wanted in my family, with my family around my children. I wanted to know her, and I wanted to have her know us. As Olivia Pope would say, trust your gut. I trusted my gut. I knew Jenny McCarthy was for us. She has a good heart. Once, in trying to describe her to someone, I referred to her as a new wave Mary Poppins. But really, that's not true. She's way more awesome than that popping chicks. Have you watched that movie as an adult? I mean, really, butt in the seat to stare at the screen, watch that movie as an adult. Because if you ask me, Mary Poppins was not a very good nanny. All she had was a bag of endless objects and a kick-ass umbrella. Also, I'm pretty sure she was doing drugs and having sex with that chimney sweep. About 2 weeks after Jenny began working at the house, she looked at me thoughtfully and said, you know, I'm your nanny too, because Shonda, you need a nanny. I think maybe I should have been insulted. I mean, she did just call me a child, right? I should have felt some outrage or some effort. Instead, what I felt overwhelmingly was relief. I had been out battling on the front line, doing the best I could against this enemy, but I was battered and bruised. Bombs kept dropping everywhere. I was tiptoeing around landmines left and right. I wanted to go home. I was losing the mommy war something terrible. I don't know about you, but the mistakes and missteps I have made since becoming mother, before kids, my confidence could have not been dented. Now it is shattered on a daily basis. I don't know what I'm doing. There is no manual. There's no checklist. There was no one to give lessons. These tiny humans have me caught up, trapped me behind enemy lines. I willingly enlisted, but I did do it for the right reasons. I read that all I wanted was to look cute in the uniform, or maybe be in the USO, sign for the troops. Well, I can't sing. Sing for the troops. Well, I can't sing, but I can play the oboe. Give me a chance and I'll play the hell out of the oboe for the troops. Instead, I am fighting. Front lines, holding a weapon. I'm not as brave as the others. Not as smart or as strong or as sure that I can make it. You know the character in the old war movies who always gets shot because he panics and runs? That character is me as a mother. I needed help. I needed fresh troops or more ammo or a medic or even just a chaplain for last rites for the love of... I got Jenny McCarthy. Jenny McCarthy is the SEAL Team 6 of 90s. I can't count the number of times some nice reporter had placed a little battered silver recorder in front of my face, flicked it on, and with a kind smile asked me what I call the big question: how do I manage work at home? What tips do I have for the working moms? What is the best secret of finding balance in the busy world? I get asked the big question in almost every single interview. I do. I hate that big question. I hate being asked the big question almost as much as being hate asked that diversity question. Why is diversity so important? Which ranks for me as one of the dumbest questions on the face of the earth. Right up here with why do people need food and air? And why should women be feminists? But as much as I hate the big question, I don't want to be rude to the very nice reporter who asked. I don't think the reporter means any harm in posing the question. I think that people generally wonder. It's just that, before this year of yes, I generally didn't know what to say. So I'd find myself smiling at the reporter and giving a lot of different odd answers. Why, Jane, I manage with lots of organization and label marker. I do laundry late at night, Suzanne. Gosh dang it, Bill. I've started meditating on a regular basis. Yeah, right. Late night laundry is the cure to getting 3 kids up and dressed, working a 12-hour day with calls to my kids' tutor, scheduling doctor's appointment and play dates on my only 10-minute break, and then coming home to find that my 1-year-old finally walked and I missed it. Late night laundry, my ass. Late night laundry is not a true answer to any question ever. There's no one answer to all of those reporters' big question. I just didn't want to say it, because no one else ever did. I read a lot of books written by and about working women, and I'm struck by the fact that no one ever seems to want to talk about having help at home, which I think is not so helpful to the women who don't have help at home. Let me put this completely irrelevant and strange hair-related term. God bless the soul of Whitney Houston. But I spent an hour every single morning of all 4 years of high school in front of the mirror trying to get my hair to look exactly like Whitney's hair. Hours and hours of my family giving over to a hot curler iron and a bottle of hairspray and burned fingertips. To me, Whitney's hair was the definition of flawless. As a teenager and Coke bottle thick glasses, who barely spoke at school and spent all her time inside books, nothing about my life was flawless. I somehow believed that everything would be better if I could just make my hair look like Whitney's. If my hair was flawless, my life would flow suit, because clearly Whitney had it all worked out. I was at a hair salon in Los Angeles for five or 6 years after graduating from college. For some reason, Whitney came up in the usual hair salon gossip. I casually mentioned to my hairdresser how much I loved her hairstyle when I was in high school, and then spun the story of my morning Whitney ritual. I made sure I danced around the sad determination and kept the story funny. Gotta lay that track. Gotta burn that campfire. So my hairdresser was still wiping tears off laughter from her face when she said it. Girl, she shook her head. You know that was a wig she had on, right? You should probably buy it for you. You could probably buy it if you want to. Hold on, let me get the wig catalog and show you. I did not hear another word she said. I was lost, thinking of the hours of wasted time and the gallons of wasted hairspray. I relieved in the inevitable misery, the feeling of failure and insecurity that came every morning when my hair wouldn't do what I was trying to bully it all along into doing. And if I had just been told, no matter how hard I worked, my hair was never going to look like that. If I'd only known that even Whitney's hair could look like that. I had to bite my lip hard to keep from bursting into tears right then and there in front of 2 ladies I didn't know. Black hair salons are no joke. I was going to be sitting across from these 2 ladies for at least 5 more hours. I did not want to be known as a fool who sobbed while she got her hair relaxed. I didn't cry, but it hurt. The betrayal ran deep. But I have to admit, there was also a small sense of relief, because now I knew I had not failed. I just didn't own the wig. Successful, powerful working mothers who keep silent about how they take care of their homes and families, who behave as if they maybe have clone of themselves or possess humor and Granger's time turner so they can be two places at once. Well, they're making everyone else get out their curling irons. Don't do that. Don't make me get my curling iron out for no reason. Jenny McCarthy is my family's nanny, and I am proud to say out loud to anyone who asks, I am proud to say that I do not do this alone. I don't think powerful, famous women hide the fact that they have nannies or some kind of help at home because they're being unkind to other people. I mean, these women aren't at home laughing and laughing at how everyone in America is trying to do it all. It can't because they don't know that the secret is that no one can do it all. Ha ha, we fooled you, sucker. I don't even think that's why my idol didn't tell us that she wore a wig. Powerful, famous women don't say out loud that they have help at home, that they have nannies, housekeepers, chefs, assistants, stylists, whatever it is they have to keep their words spinning. They don't say out loud that they have these people at home doing these jobs because they are ashamed. Or maybe a more precise way to say it is that these women have been shamed. Before my daughter Harper was born, when I was still filling out stacks and stacks of adoption paperwork, smiling for social workers, and obsessing over baby clothes in stores, back when having a baby was more of a brilliant idea than anything else, a working friend asked me if I had started interviewing. Interviewing for what? I remembered asking her. You know, a baby nurse, a nanny. She had a new baby herself, a little boy, less than 6 months old. I can still picture her as she said this. She leaned forward in her chair, more intense than I thought the discussion merited, as if she was trying to tell me something important. And of course she was. She so was. She was wasting her time. I'm never more sure of myself of a topic than when I have absolutely no experience with it. So with no baby of my own anywhere in sight, I was incredibly sure of myself as a mother. If I could slap myself, just reach back in time and whoop a good one across my face, because what I did next, look, it didn't feel like much at the time. In my defense, I wasn't yet a mother. I didn't yet know. I'm innocent. Ignorance is no excuse. What I did next was cruel, and from where I stand now, after 13 years fighting deep behind the enemy lines of the motherhood, I can tell you with certainty, any tribunal would call it a war crime. What I did next was launch a violent emotional ambush that left my unarmed sister wounded in the field. I looked at my friend. She had dark circles of exhaustion under her eyes. I'm pretty sure her hair hadn't been washed in weeks. She'd blown her nose with the baby wipes earlier. I took all of this in, and I said, why in the world would I hire someone to take care of my baby? I mean, seriously, that's just lazy. If I'm willing to take care of my baby myself, why am I even having a baby in the first place? I felt almighty righteous in the world. Her face tightened. The air between us changed. I felt startled by her rage. Mom down! Mom down! I can't tell you exactly how that meal ended. I can't tell you exactly how that meal ended. What was said, but I can tell you that she did not speak to me again. Ever. It wasn't until later that I got it. I had an eight-week-old Harper strapped to my chest in a snuggle. I was sweaty, my hair, which had been a cute afro puff a week or so ago, was now merely dirty. It was matted, terrifying afro mass that was going to be both painful and time-consuming to try to restore. The pajamas I wore had stiff, hard patches of dried formula on the front. That stiff, hard patch acted as fine bug repellent because they staked like nothing I'd ever smelled before. I was seated in front of my computer, ultimately sobbing from exhaustion so totally that I felt sure I could see the air-moving blue waves around the room, and trying to write dialogues for the movie I was supposed to have turned in a month ago. That was how stupid I was. I adopted a baby and still agreed to turn in a script for a movie a month later. If you have no children, trust me, that is beyond stupid. Later that evening, Christopher arrived. This is Chris number 2, for those of you keeping score. Not my publicist Chris. This Chris, I used to be roommates 100 years ago when we were both broke and struggling. Now he's a lawyer with a wife and adorable son. I was best man at his wedding. He's Harper's godfather, and he takes that job very seriously. Every Sunday for the past 12 years, he has showed up at my door to spend time with his godchild. Every single Sunday. He got married on Saturday, and the next day he was at my house. I told him to go home. He told me it was Sunday in a tone that allowed no argument. He's not just a friend, he's a family. So when Chris number 2 arrived that evening, he took one look at me and removed the baby from my arms. He gave me that smile you give a person who has that crazy swirly eyes. He also took a big step back at the smell of me. Go take a shower, Harper, and I go and just watch ESPN. When I woke up an hour later, I was still in the shower. The now cold water caused me to shiver. I thought, I need help. I need to hire some help. I need to hire a lot of help, or I'm going to lose my job and my child, and I'm going to starve to death. I need to hire help or I won't make it. And I suddenly thought of my friend. I thought of what I had said to her. Mom down, mom down. I thought of what I had done to her. I've shamed her. We've all been taught to shame and be ashamed. And why wouldn't we feel ashamed? How could we not feel ashamed? We're not supposed to have any help. We're supposed to be doing it all ourselves. And we're working. So if you have kids and you get help to care for them, shame on you. Which is just rude and sexist. Katrina Surrendsring, who also happens to play Amelia Shepard on Grey's Anatomy in private practice, and I spend a lot of time ranting each other about this issue. No man, she points out often, has ever had to apologize having help in order to take care of his home and his kids. Ever. Why do we? She has a point. Why do we? I mean, let's all remember that for most women, staying at home is not an option. Most women have to work. The majority of women, unless they are wealthy or financially cared for by someone else, have to work. Historically, women have always had to work. Women worked in the fields, worked in the mine, women were maids, women raised other women's children, women were nurses, women worked in factories, women were secretaries, seamstress, telephone operators. What was the difference in the past was that people lived closer to their families. Your mother watched your children, your aunt watched them, your sister, your cousin Sue. For some people, this remains true. For most people, you need help. And the cries for childcare in this country is brutal and scary and expensive. It's a lot to handle. I'm betting you are having a hard time doing it all, feeling good about it and making it all work. So it would not help anyone to pick up this book and read that I merely stuck a giggly toddler under each arm with effortless ease and skipped to my office, where I run 2 shows and produce 2 more while developing others as I laugh and sip champagne with celebrities while we all eat mounds of food and never gain a pound. It never ever helps to think that Whitney's hairdo is real. Leave no mom behind, soldiers, and even with help, I'm still in the trenches. Nobody has this thing figured out. Except, doesn't it feel like everyone else has figured it out? I don't know about you, but it's the idea that I'm not measuring up that gets me. I'm constantly worrying and wondering and feeling like I'm failing because everywhere I look, everyone else seems to be thriving. The women around me are smiling and their kids are smiling and their house seems clean. It all looks so great on Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook. I'm not an everything looks great mom. I'm a barely hanging on mom. I'm a hot mess mama. I've worn pajama pants in the carpool line, dirty pajamas. A long, long time ago, at one of the schools my daughter thankfully no longer attends, I was sitting in that back-to-school meeting that all schools have at the end of the summer. After the principal gave me a warm and rousing welcome, she invited the head of the PTA to the stage. Now the head of the PTA was a school parent, a mom just like any other mom. If any other mom was tall, gorgeous, whip smart, and gotta say it, practically perfect in every way. Perfect PTA mom. Very cheerfully began to tell us about the rules for the Friday bake sale rotation schedule that we were all expected to take part in. Now, why were we filling our kids up with the sugary baked goods, and why were we selling them these baked goods in an effort to raise money when the tuition at the school already made me involuntarily shudder every time I thought about it? Was all beyond me. But there was the weekly bake sale, and we all had to join in, for the perfect PTA mom told us so. Finally, this PTA mom's finished up. Just so we don't have any problems like last year, I just want to be clear. All of the baked goods must be homemade, something you make with your child that's so much nicer. Now, maybe it's the Midwestern in me, or the common sense in me, or the hot mess in me. It was something, but before I even knew it was happening, my mouth had opened and I was speaking in a voice that carried louder and clearer across the auditorium. Are you fucking kidding me? Really, really loud. Loud. Heads whipped around in my direction, try being that mom at your kid's school. I didn't even know I had that in me, but I did. I was mad. I was insulted. I have a time-consuming job, a job that I love, and that I wouldn't trade for the world. But being a writer invaded my brain 24 hours a day. I dream of the shows the job takes from me in ways I never expected, and yet I'm devoted to it, to the rush, to the track, laying it to the work. I work. I have a job. People with jobs often do not have time to bake. But being a mother is also a job, Shonda. I can hear someone reading this book saying those words right now. You know what I say to them? No, it's not. Being a mother is not a job. Stop throwing things at me. I'm sorry, but it's not. I find it offensive to motherhood to call being a mother a job. Being mother isn't a job. It's who someone is. Yes, who I am. You can quit a job. I can't quit being a mother. I'm a mother forever. Mothers are never off the clock. Mothers are never on vacation. Being a mother redefines us, reinvents us, destroys us, rebuilds us. Being a mother brings us face to face with ourselves as children, with our mothers as human beings, with our darkest fears of who we really are. Being a mother requires us to get together or risk messing up another person's forever. Being a mother yanks our hearts out of our bodies and attaches them to our tiny humans and sends them out into the world forever hostage. If all that happened at work, I quit 50 times already. If all of that happened at work, I'd have quit 50 times already. Because there isn't enough money in the world, and my job does not pay me in the smell of baby head and the soft weight of snuggling sleepy toddlers to my shoulder. Being a mother is incredibly important. To the naysayers, I growl, do not dismiss it by calling it a job. And please, don't ever try to tell me it's the most important job I'll ever have as a way of trying to convince me to stay at home with my children all day. Don't. I might punch you in the nose. The most important job to a woman who has rent, has a car note, has a utility bill, and needs groceries in one that pays her money to keep her family alive. Let's stop trying to make ourselves indulge in the crappy, mythological lady cult that makes being a mother seem like work. Staying at home with your children is an incredible choice to make. It is awesome and admirable if you make it. Go you. Being a mother still happens if you don't stay at home with your kids. It still happens if you get a job and go to work. It happens if you are an Army Ranger and you're deployed or overseas and your kid is staying with your parents. Still a mother, still not a job. Working or staying at home, one is still a mother. One is not better than the other. Both choices are worthy of the same amount of respect. Motherhood remains equally painful, death-defying, and difficult either way. It does. Let's all put down our weapons for a minute, okay? Perhaps you think that it's important to your child's personal growth to bake goods in your house. More powerful to you, my sister. I will defend your right to bake your brownies. I will march for your right to home bake whatever you damn well want to home bake. But I'll take off my earrings and ask someone to hold my purse for the verbal beatdown we will need to engage in if you try to tell me that I must define my motherhood in the same terms as yours. There is room enough for everybody here. This is a big, big maternity tent. If I want to buy my brownies from Costco and drop them off in wrinkled brown bag, still wrapped in that plastic and foil container with the orange price tag still attached, guess what? That's how it's gonna go down. Suck it, judges. I'm not telling you to do it that way. You go bake your ass off, but we all have to acknowledge that our way is not the way. Did I judge your perfectly made, piping hot double fudge chocolate cupcakes with a hand-whipped frosting? Did I judge the beautifully monogrammed cupcake holder with the coordinated starch apron you have on? No, I did not, because you are my sister. Also, because I'm going to eat all of your cupcakes, look, I am devoted to my children, deeply. But my devotion has nothing to do with home-baked goods. It has nothing to do with making any kind of public show of maternal fabulousness. Because you know me by now. Public display of any kind of fabulousness are never going to happen for me. I'm devoted to knowing my children, to reading books with them, to hearing the stories they tell me, and to conversate with them. To making them citizens of the world, to raising strong feminist human beings who love and believe in themselves. That is hard enough for me without delivering home-baked goods to schools on Friday. I'm never going to braid anyone's pigtails perfectly. No one's clothes are ever going to be ironed. Clean, yes. Iron, not by me. We will never make special crafts for every holiday and then take photos of them to put on Pinterest and Facebook. Ever. Never, ever. I will always be resentful of mom activities that take place on Tuesdays at 11 a.m., as if the mothers with jobs are not valued or welcome. And I'm always going to yell, "What the fuck?" at the PTA meeting if you tell me the brownies need to be homemade. I'm already in the middle of a great mommy war, and it is against my worst enemy, me. I don't need another war against you. I don't need another war against you. I bet on you don't need one either. Stacey McKee, who is one of the new head writers of Grey's Anatomy, but started out way back in the beginning as assistant on the show, is the kind of woman who does crafts with the kids and puts photos of them up on Pinterest and Instagram. She works long, hard hours, but still, you go into her office and see she's talking scripts and stories. She's hot glued beads onto the princess cape for her daughter. I always furrow my brow and ask her why the hell she's doing this. Why? Or why the hell is she delicately hand-painting vistas on Easter eggs? Or why is she doing any number of crazy, amazing craft things Stacey does for her kids? For the love of wine, why? Stacey will furrow her eyebrow back at me, equally confused. Why wouldn't I? She says. See, Stacey loves doing this stuff. She'd probably do it even if she didn't have kids. Oh, wait. I knew her back when she didn't have kids, and she was doing it. Stacey once spent days making incredibly lifelike reindeers, all the Grey's Anatomy characters out of the pipe cleaners. So it's not about working moms versus not working moms. It's about who loves hot gluing beads on cakes for people who do not know what a hot glue gun is. And it's not even that. It's about the non-glue gun people not assuming that glue gun people are judging them, and vice versa. Maybe don't start out with your weapons raised. Maybe that perfect PTA mom didn't even realize that homemade brownies could be a hardship. Maybe instead of yelling obscenes at the mention of homemade brownies, it would be better to stand up and gently point out that not everyone has the time or the bandwidth to make brownies. And if you are met with condensation, well then yell to the obscenes. This year, at Emerson's new preschool, I was in charge of the cake of the end of the year party. I got lucky and found a bakery that can reproduce photos on cake. I don't know how they do it, and I don't care. I ordered from the bakery and showed up at the party with an awesome store-bought cake. Every child's face smiling out of the frosting. Everyone looked oohed and awed. I felt victorious in a sick, competitive, not allowed to play Scrabble, kicked off of team sports maternal fabulous kind of way. And then someone asked me where the cake cutter was. I brought the cake. I didn't bring anything with which to cut the cake, or plates on which to eat the cake, or any utensils. At other schools, there might have been an international incident for me. Things might have escalated to nuclear levels. Arsenal would have been emptied. But now at this school, I said, the cake is so pretty. And I got to laugh. A friendly laugh. Then someone grinned and said, no big deal. I have some cake cutting stuff. And everyone just moved on. Cake was served. Cake was consumed. Everyone copied down the names of the bakery off the side of the bake. That was that. These moms leave no mom behind. I love it here. I don't think they are different from moms at other schools. It is that I'm different. All the other moms were great all along. I just couldn't see it. Now I'm no longer looking for the enemy, so I no longer see the enemy. And so finally, in this year, I allow myself to fully lay down my weapon. When the reporter flicks on my recorder, smiles, and asks the big question, I do not call the troops. I do not raise my shields. I allow myself to be seen. How do you manage your work at home? What tips do you have for your working moms? What is your secret of finding balance in a busy world? Yes, I can answer now. No hot glue gun, no home-baked goods, no late-night laundry, leave no mom behind. Jenny McCarthy. To do it all, I have Jenny McCarthy. I feel really good. Of course, the reporter walks away deeply confused as to why Jenny McCarthy seems to figure so prominently in my life. But I don't care. I wave the white flag. There is a victory in surrender. Curling irons down, my sister. The mommy war has ended. The end.